Now you have to decide whether to renew his contract or hire someone else. If you want a president who defines the job as spending hours a day watching TV and zapping people on social media, he's your man. Denying, distracting, and demeaning works great if you're trying to entertain or inflame. But in a real crisis, it collapses like a house of cards.
President Bill Clinton speaking for less than 5 minutes in a pre-recorded talk from his home in Chappaqua, New York. In a rather bold story that notes rather directly that Clinton's own party has left him behind, Adam Nagorny and Peter Baker write this in the New York Times, and we quote, "This will be the first Democratic convention since the 1980s where Mr. Clinton will be little more than a bystander." It's a lot to think about and talk about. And back with us tonight, the sometimes raging but always entertaining Cajun, James Carville. He's a veteran Democratic strategist who rose to national fame with the Clinton presidential campaign. These days, co-host of the 2020 Politics War Room podcast. That line always gets to Gene Robinson. Also, Eugene Robinson, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for the Washington Post, is back with us. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. James, I'm going to start with you because you were top of mind tonight. I know the Clintons brung you to the national political dance. Are you at peace with what is emerging as the fact that this is no longer their party? And you could argue that era started when those first sad souls started walking out of the Javits Center that night after the 2016 election.
Well, there was as much difference between the 92 election and the 64 election as there is between this election and the 2020 election. And we weren't exactly like calling the Lyndon Johnson people. What you saw tonight was a masterful display of the art of communications. In under 5 minutes, in an exceedingly well-lit, well-produced video, President Clinton described the country, he described the candidate, and then he described the choice. And political parties evolve, but the principles of communication do not evolve. They've been there since the Greeks in 500 BC. And I thought this was a really, really good speech. Any communications teacher like I am is going to show this speech to their students and is going to break it down. And I just thought he framed this election in 4 minutes and 50 seconds better than I've seen in the whole election, to my thinking. It was really a masterful performance, I thought.
Eugene, James is right that principles of communication don't evolve, but principles do. Bill Clinton was very much a man of his times when elected. He is not a man of these times, which I am not alone in pointing out.
Right, because time moves on. I mean, it moves on from all of us, and so that's the way of the world. That's the way it's always been. I thought it was a very effective speech. I agree with James. It was extraordinary. I don't think I've ever heard Bill Clinton speak for 5 minutes before. That was that in and of itself was extraordinary. But he did in a very concise and succinct way sum up the stakes of this election, and describe the horror that is the Trump administration and the relief that would come from a Biden administration. I thought he did it masterfully, and I thought it was one of any number, a whole string of sort of masterful little segments that were put together on this night of the convention, which I thought was much smoother than the first night, and I was just really impressed at how each segment had its own sort of story arc and its own logic, and the story was incorporated with the visuals, and the visuals were right, and of course the roll call was legendary. It should be done that way every single time. But I thought it was an extraordinary night, and I thought Bill Clinton's speech was one of the highlights.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.